bouncing off the neighbors. Whether homegrown or imported, we feeling shorted, cause we waiting on our paper. So next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Yeah, you don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets, cause when you're in the motor city, nothing is as pretty as the hustle. You don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets, cause when you're in the motor city, everything ain't pretty but it's love though. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, when we get back on our feet. Yeah.
What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome to Spike Kool-Aid for Wednesday, January the 18th, 2023. We got D. Reese in the building. D. Reese says, your boy got COVID. I say, oh, my God. Hey, bro. Hey.
Oh, my God.
Man, I had it myself back in August. Got it from the Lions preseason game. The one time me and my son decided not to wear a mask. So, yeah, I would definitely suggest if you're going to be around a crowd of people, wear it. I've kind of stopped wearing masks, mine. But if I go around a crowd, I'm definitely going to have it on. So get better, D. Reese. I hope you feel better, my friend. Man, I didn't have any taste buds. Didn't really have a fever. But did lose 7 pounds. So hope you get better, my friend. I hope you get better. Man, so we got some stuff to talk about today. Oh, Lord. Aaron Rodgers was on the Pat McAfee show yesterday, but we're really not going to talk about him too much. We are going to talk about our Detroit Lions and the biggest news of, in my opinion, probably the early offseason. I mean, we have free agency, we have the draft, and we have that stuff, but we also have the big news that we got yesterday. Been waiting on that Chargers job. Glad he back, says McKenzie. Yeah, I was just about to go into that. The Detroit Lions got some good news yesterday. Offensive coordinator, former tight ends coach Ben Johnson told the team that he was going to stay. And that is absolutely fantastic because the collective fan base for the Detroit Lions was holding their breath yesterday when it came to Ben Johnson and whether or not he was going to stay for as Detroit Lions OC. This came out yesterday via Tom Pelissero. So this is old news, happened about a day ago. OC Ben Johnson informed interested teams that he's staying in Detroit per sources. Johnson was slated to travel Wednesday to interview with the Panthers, but he feels Detroit is building something special and wants to see it through. Should be a hot head coaching name again next year. Now, for me personally, that's fantastic news because we were worried about Jared Goff and what he was going to do. How much would the defense suffer? How much would the offense suffer if we didn't have Jared Goff? Let me do this real quick. I got to bring in the chat so I can see what y'all are saying. And then I'll pop that back out. But how big is that? How big is that Ben Johnson has decided to stay? Now, there is some speculation as to if he really was going to get the head coaching job in Carolina. According to Vegas, he was the favorite in betting odds to get that head coaching job. And I also found out that they interviewed Sean Payton as well. But could that have had something to do with it? It could have. It could have. But it's probably along the lines of Ben Johnson wanting to finish what he started. And that's fantastic. Fantastic. Mackenzie says, bro, if this was Patricia, he would have been gone. That shows we legit now. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much what the talk of the town was. Now, I did a video yesterday, and when you look at where Detroit's offense was at, you see why Ben Johnson was so coveted. And you begin to think, with Jared Goff and the offense, how much would it have regressed if Ben Johnson had been hired as a head coach? The Detroit Lions finished the season 4th when it came to offense, number 4. Now, remember when we were 3-1 or 1-3, I'm sorry, at the beginning of the year, we were the number 1 offense in the league. It wasn't until week 5 when we laid that egg in New England. And then the following week was our bye week. And then the week after that, we put up 6 points in Dallas. And we never claimed that number 1 spot again. I think we dropped as low as 8th or 9th. And by the time everything was said and done, we had the 4th ranked offense in the league. But that's not the best part. The best part is, if you look at the top 10 teams, 11 if you include the Jacksonville Jaguars, the top 10 offensive scoring teams all made the playoffs except one, our Detroit Lions. Because while our offense was enough, our defense came along late, and it just wasn't enough to get us to the dance. But how much would Ben Johnson have regressed? I'm sorry, the Detroit Lions and Jared Goff, if Ben Johnson was to go? I think it would have been significant. Now, did the Lions have a contingency plan? You better believe they did. But is that contingency plan going to be as good as Ben Johnson? Probably not. Probably not. So how big is it that Ben Johnson is sticking around? And I love the quote of, feels we are building something special and wants to see it through. This right here is my kind of guy. And what I love about this is that not only does Ben Johnson want it, instead of fleeing and running away, taking the first opportunity, he wants to finish what he started. On top of that, Isaiah Buggs, Alex Anzalone, other guys, they want to come back. They want to re-sign. A lot of our one-year dudes want to re-sign. That tells you what Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes are building as a culture. And as Mackenzie pointed out earlier in the chat, no one wanted to come here, let alone stay here with Matt Patricia. Matt Patricia had to bring 18 former New England Patriots. My favorite being, and the only person, was Danny Amendola. That was it. He was solid. Nobody wanted to come here. I am ecstatic because I think that as the offense as a whole, this is huge. But you know, I think this is huge too? Jared Goff. Because next year, people are going to be waiting on JG to start failing. And the first thing that they would have said if Ben Johnson left and Jared Goff started to regress, it was because of Ben Johnson, right? So this is huge news. He didn't have us waiting too long, broke essentially a week after our last game. And he did this before he interviewed with the Carolina Panthers. Now, I found it funny how he didn't interview with the Panthers, but he was the favorite to get the job, which is weird to me. But this is great news. I'm ecstatic to know that Ben Johnson is going to stay with the Detroit Lions. He wants to finish what he started. And you know what I could see happening in Detroit with Ben Johnson, but differently to some extent? Who's like, Ben Johnson reminds me of Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy, we see the creative play calling with the Kansas City Chiefs and with Patrick Mahomes and what he's able to do over there, utilize his skill set. Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill when they had him at the time. Even this year, still doing some fancy stuff, right? Some out-of-the-box stuff. And Bieniemy's been a hot coaching candidate for the last 5 years. But he's still with the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, it might be some other things going on that we don't know about. But when it comes to, I hope that the Detroit Lions with Ben Johnson can have that type of success, that we are able to start to dominate offensively. And ironically, the Kansas City Chiefs are the number one offense in the league. We ended, I want to say it was the Philadelphia Eagles, number 3, the Buffalo Bills, number 2. So let me know, how excited are you as far as Ben Johnson staying with the Detroit Lions as offensive coordinator? What's up, everybody? We got Troxel Sports Streams in the building. What is Papa Doc and my man? What's going on, Perry? What is up, Vash? What's going on, man? Glad we are a smarter team. We drafted our own BA defense lineman, Absolutely. Best available, no doubt, man. No doubt. And we got some other stuff to talk about as well. But I am ecstatic. I'm excited. Vash says on a scale of 1 to 10 and 11. Gaddy says J-Mo is going to be lit next year, next offseason to practice and mesh. Absolutely. The thing that makes me most excited, says Allen, is the reason for staying. 2023-24 is going to be a magical season. And that goes a long way, y'all. That goes a long way. And we haven't even hit free agency yet, and we have to consider the fact that the Detroit Lions are trying to build something. And I think that that's going to be huge when it comes to them sticking around. So I am excited about that. Ben Johnson staying. I think that now that he's staying, the Detroit Lions can start to move forward. Now they got their OC, right? We got to decide. You know what this means, right? Like, I don't feel that Aaron Glenn is going anywhere. I don't think that he's going anywhere. So we're going to have those same two guys, man. I feel like if Aaron Glenn was going to get fired, he would have got fired already. So look for that to happen next year. Now we got another segment as well that I want to talk about, and this is going to be something that we're going to have to consider as we go into free agency and the draft. And I think a lot of people are going to be trying to figure out how we're going to move forward. What are we going to do at this position? We are in somewhat of a sticky situation when it comes to the secondary for the Detroit Lions. And the reason I say sticky is because we got a one-year guy, Deshaun Elliott, who wants to come back, and hopefully we bring him back. We have Tracy Walker, who will be coming off an Achilles injury. And then we have some questions at cornerback. And one of those question marks is Amani Oruwariye, who we do not think is going to re-sign with the Detroit Lions. And why would they want him? He regressed tremendously from his 2021 season. But the other guy I wanted to talk about is Jeff Okudah, the 3rd overall pick in 2020. The guy that a lot of Lions fans, including myself, was not very fond of. I myself wanted Chase Young. That didn't happen. Washington was smarter than that. And then after that, Justin Herbert would have been a nice consolation prize. But Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn, or I should say Bob Quinn, because the rumor came out that Patricia wanted Brown, and Bob Quinn decides that he's going to take Ohio State cornerback Jeff Okudah. Jeff Okudah played 10 games in his first 2 years. And I saw something on NFL.com, and it is talking about Jeff Okudah. Jeff Okudah is entering year 4. And Brad Holmes, when asked about him in his season-ending press conference, basically said that Jeff Okudah was in his rookie year. You had the COVID year, the year he was drafted, and then you had him hurt in game 1 of his second year. So, in my opinion, Brad Holmes gave him a ton of cushion, a ton. And into year 3, Jeff Okudah came out performing pretty well. And then was benched later in the season and was hurt at the end of the season in the Green Bay game. But when I brought up the NFL website, I saw something and I thought this was intriguing. It is weighing fifth-year players for 2020 from that draft, fifth-year options for those players. And Mark Ross, an NFL analyst, he goes through all the picks in the 2020 NFL draft in the first round. And obviously, you got Joe Burrow, Chase Young, number 2. And when it comes to Jeff Okudah, check out what he has to say. When it comes to Jeff Okudah's fifth-year option, should the Detroit Lions exercise it? Now, in the chat, and when you listen to this in the comment section in video form, I want you to tell me, what would you do when it comes to Jeff Okudah? He's entering year 4. The Lions will pick up his fifth-year option sometime this offseason if they decide to do that. We did it with T.J. Hockenson, who was drafted the year before. Would you pick up Jeff Okudah's fifth-year option? Here's what he has to say. No. I think there's a good chance General Manager Brad Holmes exercises Okudah's fifth-year option, but I'm not sure that's the right decision, which is why I'm saying no. Okudah is coming off his best season to date with 1 interception, 7 pass defended, and 73 combined tackles in 15 games. But that isn't saying a whole lot. He has yet to play an entire season, putting just 10 appearances to his name over the first 2 seasons, thanks largely to an Achilles injury that wiped out most of his second year in the NFL. Injuries and inconsistency on the field, he has 2 career INTs, have led him to perform far below what you would expect from a top 3 draft pick, especially once viewed as a potential shutdown corner. I agree with everything he said. There's not one thing in there I disagree with. However, when it comes to Brad Holmes and the fifth-year option, do they pick it up? What do you guys in the say in the chat? Pacific says yes, no brainer. Ain't his fifth year like $16 million? No, just no. Heck no. I would have to look and see. Lions Fan Express says, I think they decline his fifth-year option and give him a prove-it year in the final year of his contract. That's exactly what I think they do. So I'm going to say that they are not going to pick up his fifth-year option. Jeff Okudah has 25 games under his belt. He did not finish this. He was injured, which was out of his control, and he was benched this season as well. Jeff Okudah, I'm not going to put the bust label on him. And it's funny because in the preseason, Amani was saying, basically put some respect on Okudah's name. He's an outstanding tackler. But he's far from a shutdown corner. He played very well on Justin Jefferson in week 3. Absolutely. He had flashes. We thought maybe this is the year. And then he was benched later in the season. And I want to put this before you. You know whose fifth year option wasn't picked up? Josh Jacobs. It was some stellar players out there whose fifth, Daniel Jones, they didn't pick up his fifth-year option either. And I think that is going to put the pressure on Jeff Okudah to ball out. Do we cut him? I don't think we do. Because if we do, we're going to be sticky in a super sticky situation. And when it comes to the cornerback position, we don't have anyone opposite him. And I'm sorry, y'all. Jerry Jacobs is not it. He's not it. He plays very well, but he is not it. We need somebody over there. And he's not it. We got Christian Watson we got to deal with. whoever the Bears decide they're going to do with Justin Jefferson. We need a corner. And I can't believe I'm saying that 4 years after Jeff Okudah was drafted. So I agree with everything he said, that we don't pick up Jeff Okudah's fifth-year option and we make him play. We make him earn it. Because DeAndre Swift is entering year 4. He's playing for a contract, whether it's with the Detroit Lions or somewhere else. So you better believe that he's going to try to ball out next year. Jeff Okudah has one more year. I don't think we cut Jeff Okudah, but I don't think we pick up his fifth-year option. Pacific says we need 2021 Amani to show up. Well, Pacific, he's not going to have time because he's not going to be on this team. He's not going to be on this team, bro. He is not going to be on. I totally don't expect him to make it. Troxel says, but Okudah can be CB2, worst case, but I think with a healthy safety room, Okudah will play better, but we still need a CB2 because Amani ain't it. I agree. 100%. Detroit Lions says draft Ringo. Yeah, that is a possibility. So that's what I think. I agree 100% with Mark Ross from NFL.com that the Detroit Lions should not and will not pick up Jeff Okudah's fifth-year option. We will be hearing something about that in the next 3 months. Whether or not they do it, I say no. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Yeah, Jeff Okudah, I don't think he's done it enough. I don't think he's done enough, y'all. 25 games. Hurt his entire second year. You can't pick up his fifth-year option. You can't. And if you look at and I hate to do this, y'all. I really do hate to do this, but I'm sorry. And this is what I was saying when Jeff Okudah was drafted. It's not my fault he was drafted number 3, right? It's not his fault he was drafted number 3. But the reality is he was drafted number 3, right? And I want you to just listen to the names in which Jeff Okudah was drafted. In 2020, Joe Burrow, Chase Young, Andrew Thomas, Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert, Derek Brown, Isaiah Simmons, C.J. Henderson, Dredrick Willis. Then you start Tristan Wirfs, Javon Kinlaw, Jerry Jeudy, A.J. Terrell, C.D. Lamb, Austin Jackson. Who else? Jalen Reagor, who was I don't know how that happened. Justin Jefferson was taken 22nd in 2020. Justin Jefferson. When you start to look at the first round company, he can't. Brandon Ayuk, 25th overall pick. Jordan Love, going to take over for the Green Bay Packers very soon. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was the end of the round, and the Chiefs should not pick up his option. Can't stay healthy. Mr. Poole, what's up? Eduardo says, what is risky about the fifth year is if he balls out this year and we didn't pick it up, the fifth year he might ask for more than what the fifth year would have costed, i.e. Josh Jacobs. Well, I feel like Brad Holmes could trade him away. I feel like he could get traded away. So if you're just now joining us, we talked about Ben Johnson and the effect that it would have on the offense, and we're glad that he's staying. And also, should the Detroit Lions pick up Jeff Okudah's fifth-year option? From an article on NFL.com, I don't believe they will or should. He's played 25 games over his 3-year career. Brad Holmes seemed like he gave him an out by saying it was essentially his rookie year. So, but you gotta call a spade a spade. Perry says, I think Jalen Carter might fall to us. Well, I know a lot of people are hoping that he does. Hoping that he does. So here's something that I wanted to talk about, and I think I'm going to focus on one player. And I'm kind of mad because Woodward Sports beat me to it. But, we all in the same space, so it is what it is. We going to talk about the same things. But I wanted to talk about this, and I want to know how y'all feel about it because I'll give you my thoughts. What happened to my chat? Why did it disappear? Why did my chat disappear? Okay, hold on. Let me bring it back. My chat completely disappeared, and I needs that. Okay, that's crazy. It popped back into, and I didn't even pop it. I don't know anything about the college CBs coming out this year. Well, I know that people are very high on Christian Gonzalez, the cornerback from Oregon. I don't think he gets picked up. First round pick going 5. I want the bag. We won't play. Take 2 corners in the first round. How would y'all feel if he did that? If Brad Holmes took 2 corners in the first round? That would be insane, bro. That really would be crazy. Insane. Pacific says no. There are a lot of good corners this year. Yeah, I don't think we do that, but how would you feel if they did? That would be terrible. Wouldn't. One Price says wouldn't hate it. Mad we can get one, but we need a DT. Yeah, well, we got one that could be coming. We really do. I believe that the Lions are going to make some decent moves, and I want to talk about it in this segment here. So let me know what y'all think, what we're about to talk about. Free agency is rapidly approaching as we sit in the middle of January. It's been about 10 days since the Detroit Lions season ended, and we can't stop talking about our team. We can't stop talking about our team. And Brad Holmes has some decisions that he's going to have to make coming up. And we're going to have more money than he had in year 1 and 2. And we're going to have the ability to make some decent moves. Priority number 1, in my opinion, is re-signing Jamal Williams. Will we bring back DJ Chark? He's expressed he wanted to be back. Isaiah Buggs, as Alex Anzalone. So a lot of in-house moves need to happen. But eventually, the Detroit Lions will move outside of the Pride when it comes to free agents. Now, there's not a ton on the market that you would say, hey, bring those guys here. You got your Saquon Barkleys. You have your Josh Jacobs. You got some guys that I don't want to touch with a 10-foot pole like Marcus Peters. No, I will pass on that. So it's not a ton of people that are game changers or impact players in free agency, not like it was last year. And some of them people didn't even pan out. But I got to get some love to my dude, man. Brad Behrman with Fansided. Never disappoints, man, whether it's a hot take on golf or something else. And I'm going to focus on one of these guys in my Detroit Lions Syndicate video later today. But like I said, Woodward Sports already beat me to it, that specific player. But that's okay because I've been thinking about this guy for a while after looking over the free agent list in 2023. And according to Brad Behrman, he said this was from 2 days ago, 4 free agents Detroit Lions should watch in the Cowboys-Buccaneers wildcard game. Now, we know that game happened Monday night. The Cowboys finally made it through the first round, and they began to rejoice. So I want to get you guys' opinion on these 4 players, and you let me know what you think. Number 4 is kind of a surprise a little bit. We are in the need for a backup quarterback. And during the preseason, this guy's name was on a lot of people's radar. That would be Cowboys quarterback Cooper Rush. Now, the Detroit Lions are in need of a quarterback. And Cooper Rush played very well while Dak Prescott was out with that broken thumb at the beginning of the season. The Cowboys finished the season with 12-4, 12-5, somewhere around there, 13 wins. I think Mike McCarthy has 25 wins over 2 years. And Cooper Rush looked pretty good during those wins. I think he went, 5-0, something like that. And we need a backup quarterback. So how would you feel? He went 5-1 as a starter because Dak got hurt that first game, and then he went 5-1. And Dak's first game back was against the Detroit Lions, ironically. So, number 1, Cooper Rush. I wouldn't be mad at that. I feel like Cooper Rush could come in and win some games. And when you look at the quarterback market, it's not a lot, y'all. Not a lot of people you will want to touch. Number 3, Buccaneers linebacker Lavonte David. Now, I'm going to go ahead and spoil it 100%. This is who the video is going to be about on Detroit Lions Syndicate. Lavonte David will be 33 years old. He has been in the league for 10 seasons, 10 or 11 seasons. He will be going into his 12th year. So he's been in 11 seasons. But we need some help at linebacker, and he's still playing at a high level. Now, the issue here that I find with this, and I'll dive more into this in my Detroit Lions Syndicate video, is will he want to stay in Tampa Bay? He's expressed that he would like to retire in Tampa Bay, but I think a lot of it is going to depend on what's going to happen with the team, because I think Tom Brady is the beginning of that puzzle. Now, the thing is, David is projected, his projected market value is $9.7 million per year. And Brad says, would it be too expensive for the Lions? It shouldn't be. And it also won't be more than a 1 or 2 year commitment. So that's a guy that I would not mind seeing on the Detroit Lions. Let me know what you think. Number 2. Now this guy here, I don't really know much about him, but I thought it was interesting because it is a position of need that we need for the Detroit Lions. Cornerback from the Buccaneers, Jamel Dean. He was a 3rd-round pick in 2019 out of Auburn. In 2020, in 15 games this season, he had 57 tackles, 45 solo, 2 interceptions, and 8 pass breakups. So he, a 3rd-round pick, playing better than Jeff Okudah, who was drafted the year before Jeff Okudah. Says Dean comes in at number 6 in Pro Football Focus early top 50 rankings of 2023 free agents. PFF noted a 3-year, $44.5 million deal Buccaneers cornerback Carlton Davis got last year as a possible benchmark for Dean this season. Spot Track projects his market value at $8.7 million per year. Also on a 3-year deal if it's worth it. So if we were to sign 2 former Buccaneers, which I'm not sure we'll even sign one, even if they want to leave, they both are going to require less than $10 million a year. So we need a cornerback. His stats were better than Jeff Okudah. He was drafted the year before Jeff Okudah. And we need some help. And you're talking about number 6 in the PFF early top 50 rankings of free agents in 2023. I would be mad at it. Now, this one here is intriguing. This last guy is intriguing. And people have mentioned him before. He showed off on Monday night. Now, somebody brought this guy up early in the season as we were talking about should the Detroit Lions re-sign Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams is 28 years old. I do believe he'll be 29 when the season starts. I'm not sure about that. But if we can't get Jamal to come back, whether it's money or whatever, he's already expressed that he wants to be back. So I would assume that if he doesn't, either 2 things happen. The Detroit Lions found a better suitor, like someone they can bring in, or it was money related for Jamal. But this guy here is intriguing because he's quietly made a name for himself in Dallas. Running back Tony Pollard. And he was showing out. He had more rushing yards than Ezekiel Elliott, who I do not believe is the feature back in Dallas anymore. Now, obviously, Tony Pollard would have to, I could see him wanting to go back to Dallas right away, right? But Tony Pollard, he topped 1,000 yards rushing. Ironically, he had 1,007. Jamal Williams had 1,066. He averaged 5.2 yards per carry, had 9 touchdowns on 193 carries. So he did it with less carries than Jamal. I think Jamal had way more carries than that. As a pass catcher, he had 39 receptions for 371 yards. That averages to 9.5 per catch. Among 38 running backs who had 150 or more touches this season, Pollard had the best yards per touch average. Now, we got to talk about the money. What would he be looking for when it comes to money? They don't specify that on here as to what his market value would be, but this is very intriguing as to what somebody had mentioned him before. Oak says Tony Pollard is also very good at picking up the blitz. Yeah, he picked up the blitz a couple of times against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, saved Dak's life. Chief says Pollard is looking for the bag. McKenzie says $8 to $10 million a year. Now, let me ask you a question, people in the chat. If you had to choose between $8 to $10 million for Jamal or Pollard, which one are you taking? Which one are you taking? While y'all answer that question, other free agents the Detroit Lions to watch for in the Cowboys-Buccaneers wildcard game: Dalton Schultz, Leighton Vander Esch, Anthony Brown, cornerback, and Buccaneers cornerback Sean Murphy-Bunting. Eduardo says, I'd rather draft a RB than pay one. Allen says Jamal every time, Pollard all day. Jamal. So we about 50-50 in the chat. So y'all in the comment section is going to be the deal breaker. If you had to take Jamal Williams or Tony Pollard for $10 million a year, which one are you taking? But let me know in the comments below. How do you feel about those guys? I think Jamal comes back. I would love to see Levante David. We need linebacker help. And I don't think the age is necessarily a problem. Ray Lewis was playing at a high level, older. Bobby Wagner is still flexing on people. He's been in the league for 10 plus years. So I don't think it's as big of a concern as you may think. And we need help at cornerback. So I could see more than one of these guys being a Detroit Lion. But we're just going to have to wait till the middle of March to find out. But let me know what you think in the comments below. All right, let me see what y'all saying. Okay, Jamal. What's up, Troy? Curtis Martin was a monster after age 30. Yeah, I remember him. So what are we saying here? McKenzie says Jamal can't catch. Yeah, we don't even use him like that. We don't even use it. That is something that Pollard could bring. But we got DeAndre Swift for that. But we would have two options. I mean, Jamal, he does okay. But I wouldn't say that's his strong suit. Is, catching from the backfield. So, I don't know. Patty says Josh Jacobs. I can tell you right now, Jamal gets re-signed 100%. That's music to my ears. That's what I think most of us want to happen anyway. I think that's what we want. So I'm not mad at that one bit. One bit at all. What's up, Rainbow? What is going on? You know what? Because your name is Rainbow, and I got this severely underused soundbite on my soundboard, this is going to be what I do when you come in the chat.
Butterfly in the sky.
Because I have a severely underused soundbite on the soundboard, man. So
Butterfly in the sky.
If we can't get Jamal, get Jacobs. Yeah, I think Jacobs going to want some money. But I do believe that the Lions are going to bring Jamal Williams back 100%. I think it's only smart. He's expressed that he wants to come back. The only reason that I could see that, because what did he get? 2 years, $14 million, right? So what are you willing to pay Jamal, though? And we've already heard that the guys that I mentioned earlier, Anzalone and a couple other guys, are willing to take less money to come back. When was the last time you heard that, y'all? When was the when was the last time you heard that the Lions, anybody was willing to take less to come to your Detroit Lions? That's crazy. That is crazy, man. And it's also encouraging as well. 100%. Okay, let me do this because I want to. Okay. Blow that up. Can I blow that up? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Okay, fantastic. All right. Now this 2-year, $5 million a year. Ooh, wee. Okay, Detroit Lions, he got 2 years, $14 million. So you're saying that he's going to sign for less than that? I don't think so, bro. Should we trade for Jalen Ramsey? No. I don't think we should try. We talked about that last week. I think another 2-year, $14 million would be great for both sides. Derek took less to Lions YouTubers. Hey, you know what, Shadow? They don't notify anybody. They do that with everybody. I say try to sign both Pollard and Jamal. Trade Swift. Ooh-wee. Well, Amon Ra's not going to like that. And I think Swift stays, y'all. I think the core of the team is going to remain the same. That's what I think. All right, so I got a segment, man, that I've been wanting to do for a little bit. And we're just going to have some fun here. Okay? So let's do this. All right. The opponents for the 2023 NFL season have been announced. They were announced directly after everybody's season ended. So when the Detroit Lions beat the Green Bay Packers, the opponents were set when it came to the 2023 season. The schedule release is in May. And isn't it kind of amazing how the smallest things have become the biggest deal? But I'm not going to ramble about that. But I want to do the way, way, way too early record prediction. Now, I said to myself last year when the Lions were 1-6 that I was done. You know how we get. I said I wouldn't make a prediction again. I said I was not doing it next year. And who was I kidding? Because of course I'm going to do it. Of course I was going to do it. And I'm going to do it now. So this is the way, way, way too early season prediction. I did see an article, or record prediction. I did see an article, and I thought it was from Carlos Monarez, but it was from somebody else, how the Detroit Lions are not guaranteed for anything as far as the 2023 season. That we can't base success in 2023 off the success of 2022. And I agree with that to some extent. We have to make sure Jared Goff stays healthy and things like that. But here is the opponents. The date and times and weeks of these opponents we'll find that out in about 4 months. We got free agency, we got the draft, and it's a big deal. Schedule release. Last year, the Lions used the Detroit urban survival tactic dude, and it was hilarious. I had my early prediction when we did the record in May was 9-8 in the playoffs. I was 3 games off. I had us beating the Panthers. We lost. I had us splitting with the Packers. We swept. And I had us beating the Seahawks. We lost. I believe those were my only miscalculations. But my record prediction was right. The Detroit Lions have 8 home games. The 9th home game goes to the AFC this year. Next year, we'll be back to 9. They're going to flip-flop until they get an 18-game season. So, the home opponents are listed at the top and the away is at the bottom. I plan on going to at least one of these games. I would love to go to at least 4. I've already talked to my wife. I will drive there, fly there, stay one night, come home. Got to go to KC. I would love to go to AT&T. And if I had to pick one, I would probably go to Tampa Bay. I don't do outside though. That ain't what I do, but we'll see. I could hang it at SoFi again. But our home opponents are the Bears, the Packers, the Vikings per usual. We will be seeing the Denver Broncos. So we have, looks like the NFC South and the AFC West this year. We've got the Atlanta Falcons, the Carolina Panthers. We got to get revenge on our field. The Las Vegas Raiders. I was hoping that game would be on the road, and the revenge game against the Seattle Seahawks. So we got a couple revenge games. Away, the usual, the NFC North opponents. In addition to that, we have the Kansas City Chiefs, the New Orleans Saints, the Los Angeles Chargers, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Dallas Cowboys, and the Baltimore Ravens. Now, again, this is the way too early. It's going to be a way, and then a way, and then a two-way and a three-way. So I'm seeing 12-5, 13-4. Lions play 11 dome games, says Patty. Now, what they also play, Patty, is 8 playoff teams. I want to say it was more last year or this season. Coming up, the playoff teams were the Seattle Seahawks, the Minnesota Vikings, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Chargers, the Cowboys, the Ravens, and the Buccaneers. Okay. Roderick says 16-1. Pacific says 8-1 at home. Well, we only got eight games at home. 5-4 on the road. KD says 12-5, 7-1 at home, 5-4 on the road. Okay. So outdoor games, Kansas City, Baltimore, Chicago. Wait a minute. Chicago, Green Bay, Kansas City, that's 3. Baltimore's 4. And we have 5 outside games? No, that can't be right. Is that right? Well, Mr. Poole, this is the way too early, bro. Wait a minute. Is that right? Chicago, Green Bay, Kansas City, Tampa Bay, and Baltimore. Wow. We have 5, and out of those 5, Arrowhead ain't freezing. Neither is Tampa Bay. So we'll have 2, and listen, the Green Bay game in Lambeau will be early. That's going to be early. The Chicago game will probably be late. They seem to flip-flop. Okay, so a lot of things can happen with the Green Bay Packers. Does Aaron Rodgers stay or go? I'm not really worried about the Bears. The Vikings, I don't know what's going to happen. Okay, so the way too early. Man, this is tough. This is tough. Let me see. We went 5-1 in the division. We're going to get better. The Raiders are going to need a quarterback. Seattle, are they sticking with Geno? This is tough. This is tough, and I agree with Mr. Poole that this is very difficult to do, but I'm just going to throw something out there. I'm not even breaking it down because I need to know when we play these teams. 5-1, incorporating the 5-1 record, no telling what's going to happen in the NFC North. I'll say we duplicate that or we go 4-2, maybe. I think we get revenge against. This is going to be difficult. But if I had to throw a number out there, I'll say this: we get double-digit wins. I'll say that. I'll say that we get it. We get double-digit wins. When the schedule comes out, so maybe instead of the way, this will just be the way, and then it'll be this one, and then one when the schedule comes out, and then one right before we start. Once we know what the team is. So that's so okay. No, this is the way. So this is the way early, too early record prediction. I can't pinpoint it. I'm sorry. I say we win double-digit games, which is not a stretch, right? We win 9-8. So then the way too early. No, this will be the way because the final record prediction will be right before the season, after the preseason. The next time I'll do this will be when the schedule comes out. Yep, so that's what I'll do. I say the Lions win double-digit games. Games that I think are going to be tough is going to be Kansas City and Arrowhead. That is the number one target for me. That's the number one target. I'm going to try to link up with It's Too Easy in one of these games. I would love to go to 4 of them. And I honestly, I would love to go to at least 1 home game and 4 away. My 4 targets would be Minnesota, Green Bay, Dallas, and Kansas City. Those would be my 4 targets. How many nationally televised games should we have? That's a really good question to end the segment. I think we're going to have 4 to 5. I think we're going to be, the NFL disregarded us in 2022. I think we're going to be the talk of the town in 2023. I think we're going to be like the LA Rams. Stafford was on every single, I watched probably about 12 Stafford games last year because they were all on prime time. So I say 4 to 5. 4 to 5. So in my way too early Detroit Lions record prediction, I have us with double-digit wins. There's way too much to incorporate right now. So many things that could be different. Teams that need quarterbacks. The holy mackerel. What are the Green Bay Packers? What is Aaron Rodgers going to do? Probably stay. What is Tampa Bay going to do? What is Baltimore going to do? Who's the quarterback of the New Orleans Saints? You know what I'm saying? Who's going to be the quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks and the Raiders and the Panthers and the Falcons? Are they going to go with Desmond Ridder? So it's way too much to incorporate, but I do believe that we are going to have double-digit wins, and I think a win of the NFC North is like winning the NFC North is very reasonable because I think that we are going to be the most stable team in the division for years to come. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Man, that was a lot tougher than I thought it was going to be. But I'm excited about it nonetheless. And like I said, that's the super way, the way too early. Including Thanksgiving. Well, Thanksgiving is, even though it's nationally televised, it's not really prime time. Prime time would be like later in the day. So I think we're going to get, here's my prediction. We're going to get 3 Monday nights and a Sunday. At least one Sunday. Mr. Poole says, I'm going to say 2 primetime games. NFL going to be petty since Jamal called them out. You know what, Mr. Poole? I think they were being petty this year. I think they all out of petty, bro. The NFL is all out of petty. They should be. But everyone watches the Thanksgiving game. That is true, but that's not technically considered a primetime game. Primetime is like in a certain time slot. So after 6 p.m., somewhere around there. William says, what did you say, Will? Evan says, as it stands now, I wouldn't say winning the North is reasonable. I would say it should be expected. I feel the Lions are favored to win the North in 2023. I think they are too. If you look at it, you know what I think the thing that impressed me most about this team is like what I learned, and I think we have the PTSD, right? Lions fans, we got it 100%. PTSD 100%. And I think it's right that we have that, right? It's understandable. But one thing that I'm going to, like, each year has helped me, right? So last year was torture, but we got the win and we ended strong. This year we started slow, we ended strong. That seems to be our strong suit. So imagine if it's ending strong. So imagine if the Lions start strong. I would much prefer them to end strong than start strong, because look at the teams that started strong. Very few of them, if any, made the playoffs. The Seattle Seahawks squeaked in. The New York Giants squeaked in. The New York Jets fell out. The Washington Commanders fell out. So with the way that we started and the way that we finished, and looking at the NFL as a whole and how teams completely crumbled at the end of the season, the first half of the season, I'm not going to be shaken. I'm not. If we 0-7, I'm going to be like, bruh, I'm going to feel some type of way, but I'm going to be like, let's go. We've done this before. Now, I don't think the Lions are going to do that at all. I think that they have learned. I think that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell are going to get us some free agents that can make a difference and stop Seattle running all over us. Make them punt one time. You know what I'm saying? I truly believe that 100%. So that's what I think is going to happen. I think the Detroit Lions is going to have double-digit wins, and I think it's going to be a good season, y'all. 100%. 100%. So as it stands right now, I will not be on Tuesday for Nick. I'm going to take Tuesdays off because of his show, and that's going to give me time to do other things as well when it comes to YouTube and life. So I'll be on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. There may be a bit of a slowdown during the summer, maybe not every day, especially during July when there's not anything to talk about. There's 2 dead times in the NFL season for your team. Once the season is over, if your team is not in the playoffs, because there's nothing to talk about, like there's nothing going on. The NFL season is still in session, but your team is not in it, right? And then in July is miserable. Last July was my first July calling doing all of this. And it was terrible. Everybody's on vacation gearing up for the season. Mr. Poole says, just got a message from a buddy that a Panthers fan about Ben Johnson. No, why? Yeah, I also saw a couple podcasters, creators talking about it. Patty says London or Germany game for Lions. I do believe that is a huge possibility. It's been 9 years, and we lost the last time we was in London to the Kansas City Chiefs. Maybe they put us against the Chiefs. I'm hoping we don't, bro. I ain't trying to get up like that on a Sunday. I ain't trying to do all that. Ain't nobody trying to watch football at 9:30 in the morning. Come on, man. Unless you in Cali and you used to do it. If you used to your games coming on at 10, then that's you. But on the East Coast here, we get a morning. We don't have to wake up watching football. So with that being said, y'all, it has been real. I'm going to leave y'all like I usually leave you. I will see you tomorrow for another episode of Spike Kool-Aid. Make sure y'all check out Syndicate Sports Detroit XL for all the bonus content. It'll be on that channel. I will holler at y'all tomorrow. The Lions are not coming. They're already here. Peace.
Hello, good morning. Horns is blowing, and I'm pissing off the neighbors. Whether homegrown or imported, we feeling shorted, cause we waiting on our paper. So next time, when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time, when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Yeah, you don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets, cause when you're in the Motor City, nothing is as pretty as the hustle. You don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets, cause when you're in the Motor City, everything ain't pretty but it's love though. Next time, when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City when we get you back on the feet. Yeah.